Here are the top 10 platforming games available on Xbox Game Pass. Number 10. Mirror's Edge. First-person parkour platformer might sound like a horrible proposition, but 2008's Mirror's Edge finds a way to make it work. You play as Fate, a courier in a dystopian city, and you must avoid the city's police in order to make a living. The story is not perfect, but the platforming in Mirror's Edge absolutely sings against the stark backdrop of its blank city. It's a rather unique take on the genre, and while there have been games in the series since then, they don't hold a candle to the original. You'll be trying levels over and over again just to see if you can beat your previous time record. Number 9. Max: The Curse of Brotherhood. Max: The Curse of Brotherhood is the type of game that seems to be a remake of a classic platformer from the PlayStation 2 era. This game is a physics-based puzzle platformer which is set in a 2.5D environment with a free and cinematic camera. Besides platforming, the gameplay twist is the Magic Marker, which introduces a creative and open approach to how puzzles can be solved. Throughout the game, the Magic Marker will gain different powers. This game has a Pixar-style graphics and a Disney-inspired story. It also has a world of puzzles that aren't that difficult, at least until the end when it ramps up. Number 8. Tinykin. Tinykin is the rare example of a game that combines two genres together that would never work on paper, but somehow makes it work. You've probably heard Tinykin described as a mix of Nintendo's Pikmin series with 3D platformer mechanics, but it certainly leans more toward the platformer angle than the Pikmin angle. In the game, you're guiding armies of tiny creatures around, but that's really just a side mechanic. The main focus is platforming. Tinykin is one of the most original platformers to hit a non-Nintendo system in years, and is one of those games that just grabs you and pulls you in. Number 7. Inside. Inside takes everything to the next level for fans of puzzle solving, dark atmospheres, and strange environmental storytelling. In this 2.5D game, you take on the role of a young child running from evil forces who seem to have somehow penetrated and enslaved your world. Almost everything poses a risk, and numerous deaths will teach you when to flee, hide, and outthink your way to survival. The story is told silently, bearing a few unforgettable set-piece moments that help unpack the game's strange plot. It's a short game, but it'll stay with you for a long time. Number 6. Unravel and Unravel 2. This is an indie physics puzzler that has you dragging your unspooling yarn over levers, around branches, and through gaps in order to solve puzzles. There's a sense of freedom and momentum to Unravel's platforming. It's always satisfying to solve one of its puzzles because they never feel arbitrary. You can play the entire game single player, but it's much better if you play it with a friend. Both the original and the sequel are worth playing, and both are on Xbox Game Pass. But if you're only going to play one, then you must play the sequel. Number 5. Psychonauts 2. People loved the first Psychonauts when it was released in 2005. The unique characters along with the quirky tone, visuals, and level design made for a uniquely lovable experience. Tim Schafer's Double Fine returned in 2021 with a sequel to their classic Psychonauts. They completely nailed just much everything they set out to achieve with this one. The story is so well written, the world is so meticulously created and expanded upon from the original, and everything is so full of genuine emotion and childlike wonder. If you choose to go on Psychonauts 2's adventure, it will completely amaze you. If you are enjoying the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Number 4. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a 2D Metroidvania game with a focus on exploring, collecting items and upgrades, and going back to previously inaccessible places. The player takes control of Ori, a white guardian spirit. Players can jump, climb, glide, and swim through platforms to solve difficult puzzles. The gameplay takes the shape of a Metroidvania, with new skills and upgrades allowing players to access previously inaccessible areas of the world. The Rayman and Metroid game series served as inspiration for several of the core gameplay components. This game has earned critical acclaim and has won numerous awards in the process. This is a must-play game, simply because of its animation's quality. Number 3. Spelunky 2. Spelunky was first published in 2008, and it was one of the greatest platform games created in the last few decades. It was difficult to see how the makers could improve on its brilliant gameplay loops in its magnificent sequel, which was fiendishly difficult yet constantly additive and inventive. Spelunky 2 takes everything wonderful from its predecessor and refines it to perfection. That means more enemy types to take on, more traps to navigate, and more items to interact with. The game might be difficult and sometimes repetitive, but once you get into it, it becomes difficult to put down. This is a platformer that snares you and threatens to never let you go again. Number 2. Hollow Knight. Many people believe this game to be one of the most iconic Metroidvania experiences. It just exudes charm, combining wonderfully evocative graphics with perfect combat controls and smooth platforming action. Your admiration for what Team Cherry has accomplished only rises as you discover more and more of this world while plodding forward through some very difficult encounters and eventually piecing together its amazing small secrets. It's devilishly difficult at times, but oh so satisfying in all the greatest ways after you overcome a challenge, defeat a boss, or complete a brutal platforming segment. Hollow Knight is a wonderful platformer that will keep Game Pass subscribers busy for hours as they explore its mysterious world. Number 1. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is one of the most finely tuned 2D action platformers ever made, following in the footsteps of classics like Castlevania and Spelunky. If Hollow Knight perfectly encapsulates Dark Souls' interconnected dismal world design, Dead Cells nails its combat in 2D. In this game, you have to try out a variety of builds and styles to discover how the exciting fighting engine evolves as a result. Dead Cells is an incredibly rewarding game to play through, with pixel-perfect controls and precision. As a roguelike, Dead Cells can't offer the same level of exploration as its hand-designed peers, but if you play Souls-likes and roguelikes for their combat, then you must try out Dead Cells as soon as possible. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.